Hi guys, welcome back to A Dinosaur in the Library. I'm Dawn and I've got a book haul. So as I said in a couple of videos ago, I haven't done a haul in quite a while and I've been slowly accumulating books since the summer. And so I've been reading through some of them. Some of them are for my wife, but yeah, so I've got a lot. So I'm going to break this up into two videos. The first one is books that I got at the fall library sale. So our county library system has, a Friends of the Library organization, and they always have a book sale in the fall and in the spring. So I hit them up and picked up quite the haul. I've got a reusable grocery bag completely full, and so I'm just going to go ahead and get started so this doesn't drag on forever. Some of these are for my wife, some of them are for me. Yeah, so the first one I got is Ghost Files by Jason Hawes and Grant Wilson. These are the guys on Ghost Hunters, and we actually much prefer Ghost Adventures. We kind of make fun of these guys, call them the fakey fake fakers because of a few things that happened, but I thought this book might be interesting, and so yeah, we got that one. The next book I got, because I got it for a quarter, and I realized I don't know that I've read it, or if I have, I read it when it first came out, so that's Michael Crichton's Congo. It was a quarter. Yeah, I don't think I need to say anything else about it. Then they had a whole lot of Star Trek books. I really love Star Trek Next Generation books, and I haven't read any in a while, so I picked up one or two. I can't remember how many I got. I may have just gotten one, but this one is a Star Trek Next Generation Dyson Sphere. This is number 50 in the series, and I don't really know what it's about. It just looked interesting, and I just grabbed a couple because I've never read a Star Trek novel that I didn't love. Oh no, I did get at least one more. So the next one is Do Comets Dream by S.P. Somtow. And I've actually read some books by S.P. Somtow. Or at least I think I have. The name sounds familiar. But they were horror novels, and I think one was about a vampire. And it was an interesting book. But Star Trek. Then we've got, this is one for my wife, Mindhunter Inside the FBI's Elite Serial Crime Unit by John Douglas and Mark Olshaker. And this is nonfiction. This one, another one for my wife. She loves serial killers. The True Story of Las Vegas's Most Notorious Female Killer, Witch by Glenn Pruitt. So I've never heard of her, and neither had my wife. So sounds like fun. Then I've got this one, another nonfiction. This is actually for both of us. This is The Bone Lady, Life as a Forensic Anthropologist by Mary H. Manheim. Again, one I hadn't heard of, but it was a good deal, and it looked interesting. And it's by Penguin, and I've never been steered wrong by a Penguin book. Another one for my wife, Ed Gein, Psycho by Paul Anthony Woods. Okay, this one, I have somehow not read this book. It's The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger, and yeah, it's not really what I typically read because I've kind of heard it's sort of a contemporary romance-ish book sometimes, but it's about time travel, and it's been recommended by enough people that I trust that I'm going to give it a go and see what I think about it. And like I said, it was a good deal. The money goes to the library. Next, I got a copy of Michael Chabon's, is it Chabon or Chabon? I don't know. The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay. I have read this book. I really love this book, but the edition I had, I let someone borrow it, and they got coffee on it, and it kind of molded. So I had to throw it away. I cried. It was bad. I really hated throwing away a book. It kind of broke my heart. But actually, this is the edition I wanted when I first bought it, but the store only had the other edition, so it all worked out for the best. I love the way the back is, and it's in great condition. They had several copies of this. This is the only one that wasn't really marked up. There's somebody's name and address in the front, but other than that, it's pretty good condition. The next one sounds really interesting. I've never heard of it. It's called Angry Black White Boy, or The Miscegenation of Macon de Tournai by Adam Mansbach. And it's fiction, and I'll just read you the inside on the flap. Macon de Tournai is a suburban white boy possessed and politicized by black culture and filled with rage toward white America. After moving to New York City for college, Macon begins robbing white passengers in his taxicab, setting off a manhunt for the black man presumed to be committing the crimes. When his true identity is revealed, Macon finds himself to be a celebrity and makes use of the spotlight to hold forth on the evils and invisibility of whiteness. Soon he launches the Race Trader Project, a stress-addled collective that attracts guilty liberals, wannabe gangsters, and bandwagon riders from all over the country to participate in a day of apology, a day set aside for white people to make amends for 400 years of oppression. The Day of Apology pushes New York City over the edge into an epic riot, forcing Macon to confront the depth of his own commitment to the struggle. Peopled with all manner of race pimps and players, Angry Black White Boy is a stunning breakout book from a critically acclaimed young writer and should be required reading for anyone who wants to get under the skin of the complexities of identity in America. I have never heard of this book, nor the author, and I just thought it sounded really interesting. So if you know anything about this book, let me know. But I probably, and it was used for a class because it's got the sticker from one of our local textbook stores. So I'm hoping that it's going to turn out to be as good as I think it is. We'll see. Hopefully I'll put up a review of it when I get around to reading it. The next book is The Whole Story and Other Stories by Allie Smith. Alright, so this is one, okay, I have a whole shelf on my Goodreads account called I Blame the Fabulous Holly and Jen. And that's Holly from Library at the Edge of the World and Jen from Jen Campbell. Because they are constantly recommending these books to the point that I have to have my Goodreads open on my phone when I'm watching their videos. And this is an author that they have both mentioned multiple times, and I've never read her before, but I thought that I saw this at the book sale, and I thought short stories would be a really good way to get into her writing. I don't know if this is, the best one to start with, but it was there. It was really inexpensive, so I thought I'd give it a go. The next one is one that I have been needing to have a copy of for a while. This is the Dover Thrift Edition of The Yellow Wallpaper and Other Stories by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. One of the best and classic feminist short stories, and I love it. I haven't read it in quite a number of years, and I really wanted a copy, and every time I go to the bookstore to look for one, there's not one there, and I just kept forgetting to order it when I had the money to order books, so I was really excited to find this, and it was super cheap. I think I paid like 50 cents for this. Okay. The next one is The Mad, the Bad, and the Innocent. Tales of a Forensic Psychologist and the Criminal Mind on Trial. Another one for my wife. Shockwave by James O. Bourne. I got this because my wife likes Randy Wayne White, who's a Florida writer, and also Tim Dorsey, who's a Florida writer, and this sounds sort of familiar, or not familiar, sounds sort of similar to them, so I thought she might enjoy it. Another one for my wife, The Unknown Darkness. A former FBI profiler examines his most fascinating and haunting cases, profiling the predators among us, by Greg O. McCrary with Catherine Ramsland, PhD. And I've heard of Catherine Ramsland, but I'd never seen this. But again, good price, and I thought she'd enjoy it. Hopefully that stack won't fall and knock everything over. This one is a Swedish author. This is The Second Deadly Sin by Asa Larsson, and she's read several, I think they were all Swedish authors, and she seems to really enjoy them, so this sounded pretty cool. It's sort of a thriller, so I'll let you know what she thinks if I don't get around to reading it. This one I picked up, I'd never heard of it, I don't think, but it sort of sounded familiar in a way. The Brief History of the Dead by Kevin Brockmeyer. And I'll read you the description. Remember when we Remember me when I'm gone just took on a whole new meaning. The city is inhabited by the recently departed, who reside there only as long as they remain in the memories of the living. Among the current residents of this afterlife are Lucas Sims, who prints the only newspaper in the city with news from the other side, Coleman Kinsler, a vagrant who speaks the cautionary words of God, and Marion and Philip Bird, who find themselves falling in love again after decades of marriage. On Earth, Laura Bird is trapped by extreme weather in an Antarctic research station. She's alone and unable to contact the outside world. Her radio is down, the power is failing. She's running out of supplies as quickly as she's running out of time. So, apparently it's both of those stories intertwined, and it sounded fabulous. And I'm really, it has a review stuck in the back that somebody printed out, entitled An Apocalyptic New Book by a Young Novelist. So, sounds awesome. I'm not sure that I have ever heard of it, even though it sounded super duper familiar. The next book is also going on the, I blame this on the fabulous Jen and Holly shelf, and that is Michelle Faber's The Crimson Petal and the White. Jen Campbell worships the ground that this man walks on. She has talked about every single book that she's read of his as just amazing. This one sounded interesting. It was $2 for this gigantic hardback, so I went ahead and picked it up. The end papers are really pretty. They're marbled. So I hope to be able to get to read this maybe over Christmas break. I know I'm not going to be able to get to it before then, but yeah, so Jen, this is all on you. This purchase right here, that's all your fault. And the very last, yes, this is the last book, I promise. The very last book I have is one that I have desperately been wanting another copy of for a number of years and just haven't ever gotten around to finding one. And that is The Portable Promised Land, Stories by Torre. I love Torre's writing, his fiction. I had this book and his novel Soul City, and I don't know what happened to them. I don't know why I don't have them anymore. But this is a book of short stories that I absolutely adore. And his novel Soul City is also amazing. I need to get another copy of Soul City like nobody's business. Yeah. I mean, and the titles of these stories. A Hot Time at the Church of Kentucky Fried Souls and a Spectacular Final Sunday Sermon of the Right Reverend Daddy Love. That's a story title. I love it. It's so good. The Sweet Sad Story of Sugar Lips Shine Hot, the Man with the Portable Promised Land. I mean, yeah. The titles give you some indication of how awesome these are, but not a complete story. You need to read these. And you also need to read Soul City. I loved them. I just happened to pick them up in a used bookstore 10, 11 years ago. Maybe longer than that. And loved them to the point that I remembered them long after not having copies of them, and I was so excited to see this. I snatched this off the shelf so fast I almost knocked over a stack of books. The lady next to me thought I'd lost it, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm excited. So that's all I've got, even though that was a pretty large stack to have. I will have another haul up at some point that are the rest of the books that I've gotten. But like I say, this is all from the library sale, but the other ones are things that I've gotten from July till now, which is the end of October. So it's taken me a pretty good while to build up the stacks that I have. So nobody think that I've gone completely crazy and bought all these. And I'm hoping to get through a good chunk of them during Christmas break because I'll have like 4 weeks, which is really nice. So this is running a little longer than I meant as usual. So I will let you guys go. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.